My mom was actually a prostitute that worked for the Cartel. If I was raised in a whorehouse, no one's gonna come and save you, and it's up to you to figure it out. They were really poor. I remember that we would get a gallon of milk, and we would run out, and my adopted dad would just put water in there to fill it up for the rest of us. That was horrible. At school, I didn't even finish high school. Age 15 to 16, I had like a little affair with the teacher, is what I call it. She was married. She had 2 kids. One day I was like, dude, I don't feel like this is good anymore. I told her this, and she did not like it at all. She's like, no, I'm gonna marry you. I'm in love with you. I'm like, yo, what?
There's no way that we should normalize this.
I go into the living room, and the pastor's there. My parents are there. What the hell is going on? Next thing you know, I'm getting blamed for it. So now I'm 16, homeless, no money, no plans. I'm on the streets.
I'm speechless.
It really tore me up. But I knew that wasn't the end of my story. And I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna stand up. And if I came from that and now I run a multi-million-dollar business, like that's the goal right there.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Atypical Journey, the podcast where we explore the stories of people who have taken an unexpected path, rebuilt themselves, and created impact along the way. Today, I am joined by Chuy Rivas, a financial planner and a business owner who built a multi-million-dollar business after starting life with circumstances that most people could not even imagine. So we'll talk about his journey, the moments that shaped him, and how he turned pain into purpose and success. So welcome, Chuy, to Atypical Journey. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be in your podcast, and I love what you're doing. So glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. So before we dive into the rest of your journey and how you built yourself to be where you are today, I want to start with your background, where you grew up, and what life was when you were a child.
Sure, absolutely. So I was actually born in Manzanillo, Mexico, and that's in obviously in Mexico by the Gulf. And my mom was actually a prostitute that worked for the Cartel. So my first 4 years of my life, I was raised in a whorehouse, and I became friends. Well, my mom became friends with the madame, and let me live there. But of course, living there, it's not real typical, as you would say, as your podcast says. It's definitely different. You learn a lot at a very young age. And I think kids at a young age are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. But you learn at a real young age that no one's gonna come and save you, and it's up to you to figure it out how you're gonna survive. So,
do you remember anything from that period at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember when my mom would leave me at a nanny's house for weeks at a time, and I would be like, "Where the heck's my mom?" And the thing is, she's out there working or whatever, and my nanny would run out of diapers and milk and formula, and she would call my mom. They wouldn't be able to get a hold of her, so they would call the madame that ran the whorehouse. And long story short, one day, that's actually how I got adopted into the United States, is that one day my dom told my mom, hey, you got to figure this out. You have a son now. Either you're going to have to quit your job or raise your son. But the thing is that she also had 4 siblings, four brothers and sisters, and a mom and dad that she was providing for.
Oh, wow.
So it was either, and I'm not judging her as well, because, you're stuck in a rock, hard place, a rock and a hard place. And so I think she meant well, but I said, hey, we're just going to give him up, and hopefully someone adopts him and does right by him, because I obviously take care of my other family. So I remember that. I remember getting my first, when I came over to United States, I remember all that. I remember how we actually came over to United States. I had a lot of little cousins, and my parents put us in blue Astro van, and they stuffed me all the way in the corner, all the way in the back, and they gave us bubble gum, some little, remember that, that little pink circle
Yeah.
bubble gum. So they gave us all one. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. So we went through the border. I remember that we had so many kids in the van that we handed them over the passports. But obviously, I wasn't quite legal yet to be in the United States. But I think the border patrol guys, this was a long time ago. Remember, they just went through like the passports. Was like, all right, that's enough. I understand you guys are legit. Just let us through. So we're really cross our fingers to get through. So that was also a blessing to know that I had someone looking out for me already that early in my age. But yeah, I remember crossing over, waking up in a family that's got a bunch of 4 sisters and 1 brother, or 4 sisters at the time. And I'm like, whoa, this is a lot different. So I'm trying to adapt. I'm trying to figure out what the heck just happened. And people, the thing is, like, when you're so young with that kind of stuff, that traumatizing, you kind of blank it out. You kind of try not to remember it. And I think that's normal, because I think it's a defense mechanism that was built in our DNA to kind of be like, hey, it's not fun, I guess, talking about it, right? But it helps people. But it helps people now. Now that I've told my story on Brad Lee and like a lot of other podcasts, it's kind of like, holy cow, now I'm helping people because I'm getting all these DMs like, hey, my God, your story was inspirational. It's motivating me. It's telling me that. And that's, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I guess this is what I think success is. Tell my story to help other people. So
when you got to your adoptive family, was life dramatically different? Were they wealthy? Did you have,
yeah,
more resources? How was it growing up with your adoptive family? And did you realize that you were adopted, and did that affect how you maybe view yourself or view your circumstances at the time?
yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So when I moved, the thing is, they were not wealthy at all. They were really, really poor. I remember that we would get a gallon of milk and we would run out, and my adopted dad would just put water in there to fill it up for the rest of us because there was a lot of siblings. So we would just share the gallon of milk. I remember that. I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. But I thought it was normal because that's all I knew. But going to other friends' houses at that age, and they have their own gallon of milk. They have their own like cereal that they like, or it's kind of crazy. When you go to different people. But yeah, no, heck no, I did not have. The only benefit I had moving into this family is that it was in America, so that was a big blessing. And America is obviously the land of opportunity, and I love America because if it wasn't for them giving me a shot at,
Were you a good student?
was that a good student?
Yeah.
No, heck no. No, I was not very good at studying. I was horrible at school. I actually got kicked out of school at the age of 16. I didn't even finish high school.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a crazy story because age 15 to 16, I had like a little affair with the teacher, is what I call it. She was our music teacher. She was married. She had 2 kids. Her husband's 6'8". He's a big guy, and I'm only like 5'6". But he was a really good big guy. But anyways, we had a little thing going on, had a little affair, and one day I was like, dude, I don't feel like this is good anymore. I just this is not cool. I don't like it anymore. And I told her this, and she did not like it at all. She's like, no, I'm gonna marry you. I'm in love with you. I'm like, yo, what? So I'm like, no, I'm 16, man. You're 26. And then there's a crazy part. I went to a Christian school, and the pastor was the father of this teacher that was having an affair. She was 26. I was 16. So it's crazy, right? Mind blowing. So one day, she gave a love letter to my sister, my adopted sister, to give to me, and she put perfume on it. And my sister always had like a little suspect about like, hey, what the hell is going on with you? And when Jamie is her name, it's the first time I drop her name, Jamie Snitcher. So you guys, your audience are gonna get the first name. Her name is Jamie Snitcher. So you guys,
it's so important that you tell this story, because for a lot of guys, this is how they kind of were forced to grow up. And at the time, they might think that is normal, or because you're going through adolescence and you're having some hormones and you
Yeah.
think that, oh, okay, it's me who wants this. But at the end of the day, you are a child and she is an adult and she has authority over you as a teacher. And there's no way that we should normalize this.
Yeah, so this is a crazy story. So then what happens is I get this love letter, my sister opens it up and it goes to my my parents and her husband right away. And I remember coming back from basketball practice and I go into the living room and the pastor's there, my parents are there, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And they're like, oh, we got this letter and it kind of tells everything, how she's in love, how we guys everything has done. I'm like, oh my gosh, I broke up, I broke up with her. Well, this is your fault. They brainwashed the pastor brainwashed my family and prayed over me. He prayed over me. This is it gets more details with you. He prayed over me and goes, I'm gonna pray you forget this, and prayed over me. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? So he does all that. Next thing you know, I'm getting blamed for it. Long story short, I get kicked out like a week later from my house for doing this. So now I'm 16, homeless, no money, no plans. I got, like Bradley said, no girl. But we had nothing. We had nothing. I'm on the streets here in Iowa, and I was eating out of, there's a general gas station called Casey's, and they have pizza. And I knew what time they would throw away their pizza, so I would jump in the dumpster, grab the pizza, eat. So I ate 16, and then I met some good group of friends, and they took me in, taught me all this stuff. But yeah, that's a lot right there for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Zach,
it's I'm speechless. It's really, really crazy that people will feel that it's okay to abandon a 16-year-old on the street to basically become homeless for a situation where there's an adult involved. But what were you feeling at that time? Coming from the background that you came from and feeling that at least maybe you have a family here in the state and maybe you have a second chance to have it all blown up like this and find yourself on the streets. Can you walk me through what you were thinking at the moment and
yeah,
what your perspective of your future was at the time?
yeah, for sure. Um, so how I felt, one was obviously deeply hurt by my family, my adopted family. I was like, Jesus, you guys you guys adopted me just to basically give me away again, and choose a different family versus your own besides me. So I felt like I was really hurt, to be honest with you, and it really tore me up quite a bit. But I knew that wasn't the end of my story, and I knew that, hey, I'm gonna tell this story one day and be resilient and help people. And I knew it wasn't the end of. I just felt something in me like, this is it. This is not the end of Chewy. We're gonna figure out what to do, how to use this pain and turn it into power, how to feel this hurt and help somebody else. And that's how I stopped being a victim. I was like, all right, this is what the cards I'm dealt right now. Let's figure something out, and let's survive another day so we could fight another day. And I just was like, all right, I got some friends here. I'm gonna work at a job. I'm gonna maintain myself and do right by people and do the right thing no matter what the hell life throws at you, no matter what people treat you like. And that was my mindset. And I was like, I'm not giving up. This is not. I'm not gonna let the world kick me in that and keep me down. I'm gonna stand up and I keep moving forward. The crazy part, they didn't talk to me for like 3 years. My own family members, they stopped. They didn't talk to me at all.
Is that because you were mad at them, so you didn't want to talk to them, or they were
No,
mad at
no, they were mad at me, and they were not allowed to talk to me.
you?
So Christmases I would spend with my friend Trevor, and we would just. I remember I got like a shaving kit. I don't even have much hair, so I gave it to him as a gift, and he gave me a necklace or something that he had. And so I remember those like dark, sad times, but I think it made me stronger for what I do now and what I've done in my life and the adversities that I go through now. It's
Yeah.
probably nothing compared to what I went through, and I think that's why I love my story, to help other people, let them know, hey, just because you have this is part of life, and if you gotta learn from it and get stronger because it'll help you. But yeah, that's what I did. So I changed my mindset basically, and that's how I felt. But yeah, obviously I was hurt at first.
That's beautiful to hear. And honestly, that's also why I wanted to have you on, because that mindset is very rare for people to keep that attitude and to be like, okay, yes, life threw some stuff at me, but I'm not going to let it stop me. But at a young age, at 17, 18, or 20, how did you go through that phase? Because many people would have just, went crazy, become drug addicts on the street and stay on the street forever. Like, how did you get a job? How did you maintain yourself? And where were you living? I know you said you had your friends, but how were you supporting yourself
Sure.
financially?
Yeah, so I had a group of friends that took me in, and we lived at a house, an apartment that was for low income houses that he was getting money from. So I lived with him. I stayed on the couch, obviously for a couple years actually with him. Obviously I did I was drinking at age 16, which is crazy because I didn't know any better. We're in college, so I was kind of coping with that, which isn't the best thing, but I think it just taught me a lot about life. But I had a job at a grocery store, and the cool part is that the manager, the owner of the grocery store, knew my story and would actually invite me to their Thanksgivings and their family's Thanksgiving. So I would go there. So there was a lot of people that helped me through this. It wasn't like I did on myself as well. It was my mindset, but there was a lot of people that took care of me and put me under their wing and made sure that I was all right, and like making sure that I'm like taken care of, you know, just by inviting me over. Like the guy, he didn't have to invite me to his family's Thanksgiving, but I
Yeah.
still remember him, Dale, and he was an awesome guy, and he would give me chances after chances. Sometimes I would mess up. I'm not saying I was perfect because no one's perfect, but I know that I think he knew where my heart was, and he knew I needed that job to survive. So
Yeah.
it's been really cool to kind of tell my story now even more in detail. But yeah, so that's what we
Did you
have.
stay in touch with your mother?
She's my real mom is dead, and my dad as well. So that's yeah, they are dead. My grandma, my dom tried looking for her. She says she's probably passed away. So I never got to meet her after that. But she was so illiterate. I'll tell you this crazy part though about the story I heard is that she was so illiterate when she wrote her wrote me my rights over to her my adopted families that she couldn't write her name, didn't know how to sign, so she put a letter X
Wow.
as her name. So that always stuck in my mind. I'm like, dude, if I came from that and now I run a multi-million-dollar business, like that's the goal right there. Like, sure,
Absolutely.
I had a bad deck of hands given to me, but you do what's you play them right. You play them accordingly, and so it's been kind of cool, man. It's been sweet.
Looking back and knowing maybe the circumstances that she herself came from, and you said she was illiterate, so she probably didn't get to go to school and things like that. Did you ever were you able to like forgive her, or maybe to understand the choices she made, and let that go and maybe be at peace?
Yeah, for sure. And I recently learned about her other family that she was supporting. So for a while, I was kind of upset growing up. I'm like, damn, why she do that? Why she pick her other, why she give me up basically? And I think every adopted kid feels that way. You feel like, hey, you're not good enough to be picked or stayed stuck with, and that's also something I had to learn to be. Um, the older I get, the more I learn that hey, the, you don't need to be you don't need to do all this stuff to be accepted. You just got to be confident in yourself. And I learned that, but I just learned that about my mom, and I just literally just forgave her a couple years ago because I learned that she was actually supporting her own family as well. So I was like, damn, she was kind of put in a hard place on a rock, a rock in a hard place. I was like, geez, so I forgive her, and I knew she probably meant what's best for me. Like, hey, he's gonna have an opportunity in the United States instead of Mexico, So I always and I know she's with me all the time. I swear, I wouldn't be alive or doing what I'm doing if I didn't have a guardian angel. Because I've got myself in some crazy stuff, and I've survived it, and I'm here, and I'm healthy, and thank God. And I know God stuck with me when I didn't stick with Him. So that's also a thing that I really keep in my life is God's faith. So I'm not sure how you feel
Are
about
you
that.
very spiritual even after that crazy story with the pastor? Did that leave a
See,
bad taste in your mouth
yeah,
about religion?
I, I'm not like a church. I don't go to church a lot, but I believe in God, and that's my foundation on everything from my personal, my relationship, my business. Is God's got to be my foundation because if I didn't have Him, there's a lot of times and tribulations and trials that we have that I can't survive on my own. So I really lean on Him, and I know some people might think I'm crazy, but I just know what I know, and I'm leaving proof that God is real. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, it clearly worked out because now we can transition to, your business, the insurance, the financial services that you provide. How did you get into that? What was the transition from the grocery to that? How did you discover the financial world and how did you
Yeah.
build yourself up to where you are right now? And you can tell us the services that you also offer.
Sure, absolutely. It's funny. Like I just mentioned, God, He put me in the right places. I actually was selling print at the time, and I went into this office. So I was like, "Hey, do you want to buy some print? I could do your business cards." An insurance company, the same one I work for now. It was my
Oh,
partner now. His name's Aaron, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you want a job? You're really good at sales." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do it." So long story short, I had no idea that I started with zero clients. I had to study to get my tests, my financials. I had no idea. I just thought it was like, all right, I can make a lot of money. Let's do it. And I quit my job. And long story short, I didn't realize what I was getting into. So then I had to put my foot was to the fire. Then I had to be like, okay, I just had my son. He was just born. So I had to test for my Series 6, 60. I'm a horrible tester. Obviously, I didn't finish high school. So I remember just studying, carrying him with my little notebook like this, like my little note card, just learning about investments and stuff while I'm walking around the block, strolling, giving him, on the stroller, and I just think of that all the time. I'm like, dude, this is crazy how where I started, where I'm at, what I had to do, and then realize, hey, now the real work starts. Now you have another life depending on you. Now you're gonna learn. You're gonna everything that hurts you, you're gonna use and not let it hurt this boy that you have, and you're gonna make sure that you don't pass down generational curses. So kind of that my son was really the number one reason why I got into it, and I kind of found the passion for it. And I'm like, okay, if I could protect people because I do investments as well and insurance with Country Financial, but I was like, if I could help people and protect them the way nobody looked out for me when I was younger and no one protected me, I don't want other people to feel this pain or any like emotionally, physically, or monetizing or losing their assets. So I was like, I'm going to use that pain and do this, and I get paid for it. Oh heck yeah! So that's how I kind of started my business, and it did well, and people trusted me. You got to build that trust. I think that's the main thing in investments and insurance. If you don't have the trust, you probably don't have anything. Just like you as a normal person. But yeah.
The beginning must have been, slow. How did you find your clients? Did you
Oh my
get some
God.
people who said no to you? And how did you take that? Did you have moments where it's like there's no customers at all?
Yes, you're so right. So starting off, you just gotta just. I always say, don't fake it till you make it. You just gotta work and make mistakes and then learn from them. So what I did, I remember year 4 into this business, I still couldn't even I had to call my sister. I was like, hey, I need some money for some milk for my son. She's like, when do you have a business? I said, well, here's the deal. Every entrepreneur, when you start a business, I think the first 5 years is a struggle. And that's, I think, the key. And it was not easy. But then eventually, like I said, you start doing the right thing, start showing up, start coming through on your promises. And I started building referral partners, realtors, bankers, and they start seeing me and they're saying, hey, this guy's good. I like working with him. He's honest. He's reliable. Then you start building these clients and the network, and then at year 5 or 6, then you start booming, 7, boom, then it starts compounding, bam, and then next thing you know, you're almost 12 years in the business and now run a multi-million-dollar business. So you got to put the grind, the time in. That's the thing. And a lot of people think it's an overnight success. It is not. And then, but the thing is, I was built for it. My life taught me all this stuff. I have to, put in the work. So it was pretty sweet.
Being in that business for so long, what did you learn about money in general? And what do you think that people miss about building wealth in this country that is still holding them back? Every day we hear the complaints, right? About inflation, life is hard, but still there are people that are thriving, and you can see that with the assets you manage and the people you
Yeah.
work with and your health. So what is it that we are missing, the rest of us?
No, a lot of it's a lot. It's pretty simple. I think a lot of mistakes people do is try to keep up with the Joneses. I think you're gonna live beneath your means. If you live beneath your means, you'll have that extra cash to put into retirement that'll grow and make you have a good retirement. If you just live beneath your means, because the compound interest, I also learned that compound interest is massive. That's how you become wealthy. You don't have to put in thousands of dollars a month. You just got to start little by little and prioritize your retirement if you want to really retire wealthy and with some money in your account. So a lot of it's just living beneath your means, and a lot of people just like to keep up with your neighbor and be like, "Oh, you got a nice car, I'm gonna get a nice car." Well, do you need a nice car? You can still go to AB. Well, how about your retirement? You got nothing in retirement now, so
Yeah.
that's also something I've learned. And that you can only spend the dollar once, so spend it wisely.
And for someone who maybe wants to embrace that as a business or as a career, what advice do you have that you learned along the way?
Yeah, always do the right thing by your client and take care of your client, because if you take care of your clients, they'll take care of you.
Any difficulties that you encountered in that career, or ever since you started becoming, like building your way up, was there like a moment? Of course the beginning, like we just said, is hard, but was there a moment where maybe you had to like doubt things, or maybe you had to grind yourself to maybe reverse course?
Yeah, all the time, all the time. Sometimes some days you're slow that month, and you start even in the year 12, you start second guessing yourself and start having doubts. Then you're like, okay, let's because let's go back to the basic. Let's start reaching out to our networking partners. Let's keep catering to them. Let's still bring them pizza or breakfast. Let's still do those simple things. And that's sometimes when you're kind of like doubting yourself and you have a slow month, you're like, okay, what happened? And it's totally normal. It's a good entrepreneur mindset, because if you're not worried, you're in trouble. And that's the truth. If you're not worried, you're basically don't really care, I guess. You don't have the passion, or you're not gonna make it. So you always got to be a little worry wart. It's kind of annoying, but yeah, you gotta be passionate about your business. So yeah, that happens all the time though.
And currently, what are the biggest things that you are working towards, or what are the next steps for you?
Right now, our biggest issue is just people just looking for the cheapest insurance right now and not really understanding what they're buying. And then when something bad happens to other clients with other insurance companies, they come to me, see if I could fix it. But the thing is, it's too late. After I've warned them, do not go for the cheapest insurance. It'll cost you double or triple at the end of the day if you do go with the cheapest insurance, just physically, emotionally. So that's the main thing that I like to bring up to clients. Like, don't shop for the cheapest, go for the best. So but sometimes they can't afford it, and that's also a different issue. So
What kind of insurance do you offer?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
what are people who are not taking advantage of that? What is it that they should know that they are missing out on?
Um, I do auto, home, life, business. And then life. I do not do health insurance, but I always recommend um, getting an umbrella policy. Is if you have any sort of income, or you're working, or you have retirement, because we live in a sue happy world, and you look at someone wrong, they'll sue you. The thing is, the in Iowa, I know that they could sue and garnish your wages if you don't have the right coverage. So I always recommend getting an umbrella policy, because it keeps you away from people that could sue you and take your income and assets. So that's a big and it's not that expensive, really. That's the crazy part. It's like $300 a year, maybe.
Oh
So to
wow.
protect your entire income and assets, pretty not a bad gig. So
I wanted to ask, what is your view on family after being through what you went through? I know
man,
you're engaged now. You're gonna get married. You have a son. You were adopted, but also you came from a family that was really like broken. What is your
Mhm.
view on family now?
Sure, absolutely. My goal in family, especially for my son, is to love him correctly and teach him correctly and not let him ever feel the way I've ever felt as I grew up. And that's so, if it's, you know, is break that generational curse of, you know, teaching them that life could be good. And if you have a good father to guide you through this world versus having you figure it out on your own and wish you the best is kind of not what I was. So I love my son. He's my reason I'm here. The reason I do insurance. The reason I do everything. So if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here, honestly. So he's kudos to him, and I love him.
When you look back at the whole journey, what do you think people misunderstand about overcoming difficult seasons or beginnings? Because a lot of people are going through that. They might not have the same courage as you to be transparent or to share it, to inspire other people. But every day, people are going through moments of doubt, moments where they are very down and they don't know that they can ever make it. What
Mhm.
is it that they should take away from your story?
Yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up. And it's of course it's gonna be hard, but use the pain and the pressure and the hardship as fuel to make you better, to make you overcome this. And don't give up because most people do give up right before they're about to cross. So I always recommend, hey, keep kicking ass, keep showing up, and if you do the work, the results will show. So switch your mindset from victim mentality to a winner. So don't let anything get in your way. Keep doing, keep fighting, and do the right thing. So that's what I would recommend them to
That's
do.
amazing. Solid advice right here. Before I close, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about your podcast. What is it about? And, the name, where people can find it, and why it's important for you to share those stories.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, my podcast is called Against the Odds. I'll show you a little thing right here. We're about to shoot. We're about to do.
Oh,
We're about to
I love
shoot
it.
right here at 12 o'clock. It's
Right.
about going against the odds, and anybody that's gone through some stuff and bounced back. We want to hear your story. We'd love to have you on, or just tune in. Maybe we could inspire you and motivate you, and that's the name of the game here. So, yeah, it's called Against the Odds by Chuy Rivas. So I hope you guys tune in. So thanks for having me, by the way.
Pleasure is all mine. This is really one of the best stories that I've heard, and it's really on point with the theme of my podcast is to show people that it's possible wherever you started or whatever you're going through. It's and your story is a powerful reminder that yes, you can still make it. So thank you so much for coming over.
It's all right. Well, thanks for having me. I hope I'm able to help you guys out. And if you ever need anything, let me know. Okay. I appreciate you having me on, though.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, I hope this conversation reminded you that no matter what your story looks like right now, you still have a way forward if you really set your mind to. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time for another episode of Atypical Journey.